Welcome back to the show. You're watching Morning Live. After 7 o'clock, the main focus of our show is going to be on the State of the Nation address that President Jacob Zuma gave last night in Cape Town. Peter Ndoro will be mediating the breakfast, but Ayanda Ali-Payne is also there. So let's cross over to her now. Ayanda, I understand that you've got a guest with you, Sheila van Rensburg, coming into sharp focus, just like last night's State of the Nation, where the President focused on the economy, highlighting certain sectors, mining being one of them, the other one being textiles. Tell us a little bit more.
Well, a very good morning to you, Valen. Thank you so much once again for crossing to us as the tables are fast filling up with ministers and other stakeholders. We're taking a fine-tooth comb and going through the State of the Nation address, a sort of a post-mortem, if you will. So with me now, as you've rightly mentioned, Valen, Sheila van Rensburg. She's from SATU. She's the provincial secretary here in the Western Cape. And we are going to focus on textile. Now, you may remember the president yesterday saying that the industry has received some sort of a revitalization after years of struggling due to cheap Chinese imports and other factors that weighed heavily in the textile industry. Factories have had to shut down, but he says through the help of the Department of Trade and Industry, leather is looking good in the country, the production thereof, and other textiles. So let's find out from, shall we say, the horse's mouth, whether or not the application on the ground is as good as the president had painted it out to be. Sheila, thank you so much for joining us. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
So tell me a little bit about what the president had to say and your reaction first and foremost.
Well, what the president has said in his opening speech and the address of the nation is absolutely correct. Our industry has been through a lot of turmoils. We had lots of job losses in the past, but we can say for the last 5 years there has been sustainability of jobs, and there was growth also. For the last 3 years, we did not have an onslaught of job losses where we were served with Section 189 notification in textiles, clothing, as well as leather. Leather has been extremely stable ever since. But yeah, if it wasn't for the DTI and also some changes in the tariffs, trade and industry, then I'm sure we would have had been much smaller than what we were. But for the last 5 years, we've grown by almost an additional 10,000 members, which is good. Where in the past, we had like almost that amount on an annual basis where we lost jobs. So yes, a lot of people has regained coming back into the industry, and there's also additional jobs. Look, and that is our own experience that we've had over the last couple of years.
Now, you've spoken about how the industry has stabilized, which is very good, but let's speak a little bit about scaling. How do we maintain and perhaps even improve that growth? If you could sit down next to the president today and give him a word or two on some of the necessary interventions, what would you tell him needs to be done to further improve the situation in the industry?
I think there is a lot that still can be done. Particularly in terms of the tariffs. We are still challenged where a lot of, say, tariffs are being paid. There's a lot of loopholes that still needs to be looked at to protect the local market, in particularly within South Africa. So that is one of the areas that we believe needs to be looked at. Also, more needs to be done in terms of curbing the imports that is still coming in, customs, and see how do they find and put more measures in place to monitor the imports that's coming into the country.
What about transformation? Perhaps my understanding is wrong, but I assume, and you'll correct me if I'm mistaken, that a lot of people who are in the industry are at lower levels, that they're factory workers and the like, that perhaps in the upper echelons of your manufacturing companies, it's still lily white. Is there transformation in the industry?
Look, there is. But yes, you're absolutely right. A lot more can be done. So, it is a unique kind of industry, to put it that way. But there is changes. We do see more, say, factory owners that comes in that is of the black grouping, black empowerment is taking place. But yes, there is still room for improvement where that is concerned.
Sheila, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us. And those are some of the conversations that we'll be having with a number of industry players here this morning. We'll also be speaking to various heads of department, various governments, to find out a little bit more about the practical application and execution of what President Jacob Zuma had to say. And still on the subject of textile, I just laughed yesterday when I saw the NCOP chair, Mamatandi Mudise, and that she was wearing the exact same outfit that I was wearing today. So perhaps, Sheila, I should have gone to one of the factory workers and asked them to make something quickly for me so that I don't look identical to her. But that's the importance of the textile industry.
I hope what you're wearing is locally made.
You must find me. You must find me. I have about 60% of my wardrobe is local, but this time I'm in the wrong. You must have a little bowl every time someone goes to a public function without wearing a South African garment. We must have a fine. All right, that's my State of the Nation address, at least. That's the proposal that I'd be making to increase some of the spending that we make as locals in our own economy. Let's leave it there for the time being. More in just a moment. Stay with us.